The fathers you see manifesting today, you think it's normal. They started when they were young. And if they tell you what they did to enter what they entered, you'll be amazed. I thought these things were about English language. I spoke English language for a long time. Until God taught me that these dimensions, they are locked. They are locked. You must knock until it is open. And when it became anyone that opens to me, I rest. I was in the place of prayer for a very long time, fasting, very stretched. And on one of the days, my eyes opened and I saw an eagle bigger than a building. The eagle flaps once and is in another state. If he flaps, it's in another state. What is this? I woke up and in 3 weeks, I had invitation to more than 15 states. I now realized that that was a transport model in the spirit. It was a mode of transport in the spirit. So traveling from place to place has nothing to do with flyers and billboard. It's an announcement in the spirit. I didn't know. I thought it was English language. I had pages on the internet. Nobody knew me. But when that door opened, it became natural. So sometimes in 1 week, I have 30 invitations. 365 days in a year, I have 400 invitations. I can't travel. Even if I were to preach every day, it's not possible. How did it happen? It was a dimension. Where it happened, nobody was there. But if it is done in the spirit, it manifests naturally in time. That's how power works. It's beyond people falling down. If God announces someone, he can come to a meeting and say, God bless you. That you saw him in a meeting, you are satisfied. I didn't know why I went for meetings and fathers will just come and smile. And I will go home and not be able to sleep. I shook hands with Bishop Abioye and for 4 days I was laughing. What is this? I didn't know that there are places in the spirit. There's a place in the spirit called the room of perfume. If you enter there, you carry a fragrance. Anywhere you go, people love you. They don't know why. The man giving you a seed has neighbors that need it. The man giving you a seed has cousins that need it. Sometimes they even call them, they say these things, money no day. And the next day they package the same seed and give to somebody else. And the person just say, God bless you. And they are happy. There's a fragrance. So long as that perfume is flowing, they rest. They rest. But they enter there first. There are things that makes for power. I'm not just talking about falling down. I'm not talking about falling down. I'm talking about the ability to rule the elements of this world. I'm talking about the ability to make the princes in darkness to bow. Because if we don't have such authority, we can't change anything. When you see things happening in a territory, there are princes regulating them. When you see things locked in the territory, there are gates that must open. These things are not jokes. They are not stories. They are reality. But there is something a man must enter to be able to unlock them. This is what makes you an agent of transformation. Else, you will have your accurate doctrine. You will speak your good English, but nothing will change. Nothing will change. Nothing. Until you become frustrated. The way is real. I was sharing with my friend this afternoon. We said the labor of the foolish. Ecclesiastic 10:15. Wearieth every one of them, because they know not how to enter the city. You don't enter the city by laboring. You enter the city by knowing how. There is a how to enter the city. And if you don't know the how, the gates will be locked. You will do the same thing somebody else did. Your results will be different. You will watch him do everything carefully. And you will do the same thing the way he did it, but your result will be different. The reason is because he has access in the spirit. What happens in time is commanded. But you don't have the voice that is upon his head in the spirit. So it's not by sin. That's why the children of Israel, they knew the acts of God. Moses knew the ways of God. Moses knew how the miracles are invented. They watch the way the miracle is performed. So you can come and lay hand on the person's head, nothing happened. Somebody else lays hand, something happened. He knows the way, you know the how. You know the what, but you don't know the how. He knows both the how and the what. And it's a process, it's a protocol, it's a strategy. It's a laid down format in the spirit. And believers must know these things and commit themselves to it. Else we will be powerless. And if we are powerless, we can't change our world. If we are powerless, we can't shift things in our world. Do you think a harlot will stop the business because you spoke English? You know what? Do you know what has happened to her? The condition that led her into harlotry is one. The spirit that she's now a slave of is another. and then the neurological, psychological, biochemical processes that have already been activated is another. You think it's English language that will stop her from it? The brain has been remodified. There are hormones being secreted at certain hours of the day now, because that thing has become an appetite. When that time comes, even if there is no customer, she may want to manipulate herself to feel the sexual urge, because the brain has been conditioned. And even if you treat the brain, the spirit is still there. And when you deal with the spirit, the circumstance that led her to have not still there, you think it's English language that can change that, is power. God doesn't send anybody without power. He said, tarry in Jerusalem until you are endued with power. You have been my disciples for 3.5 years, but it's not enough. I know you saw it. I know you learned the principle, but wait. If power doesn't come, your word will swallow you. He has never sent men without power. Power is the code of life. Power is what unlocks a generation to their potentials in God. And until we become candidates of power, we have no gospel, we have no message for our generation. That's why Paul said, I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. It is the power. It's the power. It's not the explanation of the ways of God. It's the power of God unto salvation. And power has no regard for age. If you know it, you know it. If you have it, you have it. So a boy of 5 years can have power. A man of 80 years can have power. At the end of the day, who has power is the one that calls the shot.